Jimin cries while reading Jungkook's secret book. The content of the lyrics is about someone. Jimin uncovers Jungkook's secret lyrics about someone, triggering a torrent of emotions and buried memories. A tale of love, mystery, and heartbreak. The first note trembled under Jimin's fingers before he even opened the book. "You shouldn't be reading this," Jungkook's voice whispered from the shadows of the room, carrying both warning and sorrow. But Jimin's curiosity overpowered him. The leather-bound journal felt impossibly heavy in his hands, and the faint scent of Jungkook's cologne lingered on its pages. As he flipped through, the first lines struck him like lightning. Words he thought he knew, words they had shared in laughter and late-night conversations, were now carved into a raw, aching confession. Each sentence was a shard of Jungkook's heart, a mosaic of hidden fears, unspoken love, and a longing that only Jimin seemed to understand. His chest tightened, breath shallow, as he traced the letters with trembling fingers. The room around him blurred. The soft hum of the city outside became a distant echo, replaced by the sound of his own heartbeat hammering in his ears. Memories of late-night rehearsals, whispered secrets, and moments stolen between the chaos of their public lives flooded his mind. Jimin's eyes stung, tears forming unbidden, as the lyrics revealed someone he had never known existed, not an enemy, not a stranger, but a version of Jungkook shaped by pain and longing that had never been shared. Every page tore at him. The words spoke of fear, of vulnerability, of moments Jungkook had hidden behind smiles and charm. The phrases that leapt off the pages weren't just lyrics, they were silent confessions, pieces of his soul entrusted to paper, words meant for someone who might never hear them. And yet here Jimin was, holding them like a fragile artifact, feeling the weight of Jungkook's hidden self pressing against his own. He pressed the book to his chest, feeling the tremor in his hands, the chill of the evening seeping through his thin sweater. Why didn't you tell me?" he whispered, voice cracking. The answer lingered in the room like smoke, unspoken, elusive, yet palpable in the tense air between them. Jungkook finally stepped forward, slow and deliberate, his eyes dark with emotion. "Because some truths are too fragile until they're ready to be seen," he murmured. And in that moment, Jimin realized the lyrics weren't just about someone, they were about the depth of Jungkook's soul, a landscape of longing and regret painted in the language only music could convey. The tears fell freely now, tracing the contours of his face while Jimin read on, unable to stop. Each verse was a revelation, every chorus a confession. And somewhere between the trembling lines, Jimin understood the complexity of the bond they shared, how love could be expressed in silence, how fear could be disguised as courage, and how one person's hidden words could shatter and heal all at once. By the time he reached the last page, the room was thick with the scent of old paper and the faint trace of Jungkook's cologne. Jimin looked up, eyes red but shining, and met Jungkook's gaze. There was no anger, no betrayal, only a quiet, aching understanding. The secret had been unveiled, and it was more beautiful, more painful than either of them could have imagined. In that silence, heavy and intimate, the unspoken truths between them formed a fragile bridge. Jimin closed the book, but the echo of the words lingered, weaving itself into his very being. And though the story of the lyrics had ended, their impact was only beginning, imprinting a mark that neither time nor distance could erase. The rain pounded against the studio windows, each drop like a drumbeat echoing the turmoil inside Jimin's chest. He sat cross-legged on the floor, the leather-bound book still open before him, pages now damp from the tears he hadn't noticed falling. Jungkook stood near the doorway, arms crossed, the dim overhead light casting long shadows that made him look older, more fragile than Jimin had ever seen. "You're not even supposed to be here," Jungkook said, voice low, almost a growl. His usual calm, playful demeanor had been replaced by something sharp, dangerous, raw. "I told you some things are meant to stay buried." "I couldn't stop myself," Jimin whispered, voice trembling but defiant. "I needed to know, I had to see it for myself. Why didn't you tell me? Why hide it?" His fingers grazed the words again, tracing the lines like a lifeline. All these feelings, they're yours, and yet you left me in the dark." Jungkook's jaw tightened. "Because some feelings aren't safe, Jimin, some truths, they can destroy everything." He stepped closer, and Jimin could see the storm in his eyes, the kind of storm that made hearts pound and skin tingle. "Do you think I wanted to write those lyrics? Do you think it was easy?" "You were writing them about someone," Jimin accused, his voice rising. About someone else." The words felt jagged on his tongue, a knife twisting in his chest. Jungkook froze, a flicker of something he tried to hide passing across his face. "Not someone else," he said finally, softer now. It's always been about you, about how I feel and how I never knew if I could say it. Every word in that book, every single one, it's for you." Jimin's heart thumped so violently he thought it might burst. "For me?" His voice cracked, disbelief mingling with longing. All of this, the nights you stayed up writing, the way you poured yourself into every lyric, it was for me. Jungkook nodded, a fragile, almost desperate smile brushing his lips. But I didn't know if you'd ever feel the same, and I didn't want to ruin what we have. I thought if I kept it hidden, maybe it wouldn't hurt as much. His hands shook slightly, and Jimin noticed a rare vulnerability that Jungkook never let anyone see. Jungkook, Jimin's voice was barely a whisper, and yet the word carried all the weight of his confusion, his anger, his longing, and his fear. He wanted to forgive him, to pull him close, but the ache of feeling left out, of being kept from the truth, burned fiercely. Do you have any idea what it feels like to read your soul like this after it's been hidden from me? I do now, Jungkook replied, stepping closer still. The air between them was thick, electric, charged with unspoken words and lingering tension. And I'll face whatever comes next if you'll let me. For a long moment, Jimin could only stare. He could feel every heartbeat, every tremor of emotion vibrating between them. The rain outside intensified, drumming like applause or perhaps a warning. He wanted to scream, to cry, to laugh, and yet all he did was take a shaky breath. So, all of it, every lyric, every note, it was really you. Yes, Jungkook breathed, eyes glistening. All of it. Every late night, every sleepless moment, every song you heard me hum when you thought I was alone, it was about you, about the way I can't stop thinking of you, the way I... He faltered, lips parting in a confession that hovered between them, raw and fragile. Jimin's chest constricted, the words settling deep in his heart. Stop teasing me with half-truths, Jimin murmured, a shiver running down his spine. Say it, say exactly how you feel. I love you, Jungkook said finally, the words spilling out with all the force of the emotions he had buried. I've loved you through every sleepless night, every struggle, every song I wrote in secret, and I won't hide it anymore. The confession hit Jimin like a tidal wave. He wanted to collapse, to fall into Jungkook's arms, to scream and laugh and cry all at once, but anger and relief and confusion tangled inside him, making his voice catch. Do you know how much I've been dying to hear you say that? Jungkook closed the distance, their foreheads touching, breaths mingling. I know, he whispered, and Jimin could feel the tremor in his body, the rawness of every word he had kept hidden. They stood there, rain-soaked and trembling, wrapped in a silence that was both suffocating and liberating. And then, as though the world outside no longer existed, Jimin leaned in, pressing his lips to Jungkook, tasting the words he had longed to hear, the confessions that had haunted his dreams. It wasn't gentle, it wasn't careful. It was fire and water, chaos and tenderness, every emotion they had suppressed exploding in a single heartbeat. The book lay forgotten on the floor, a silent witness to the storm they had unleashed in each other's arms. When they finally pulled back, gasping for breath, the rain had slowed, leaving a quiet calm. Jimin rested his forehead against Jungkook's chest, listening to the steady beat of his heart, feeling the warmth and reality of him. So, what happens now? He asked, voice soft, trembling, but alive with possibility. Jungkook chuckled, low and full of relief. Now, he said, now we stop hiding, now we face everything together, no secrets, no walls, just us. And for the first time, Jimin believed it. Believed in the raw honesty of their connection, in the strength of what they could become if they finally let go of the fear and embraced the chaos of love, trust, and the truths that had been waiting in shadows for far too long. The studio lights flickered as if echoing the turmoil inside Jimin. He stood frozen in the center of the room, the damp pages of Jungkook's secret book now pressed against his chest. Outside, the city lights blurred through the rain-streaked windows, casting long streaks across the floor like fractured mirrors of his own emotions. Jungkook leaned against the wall, arms crossed, jaw tight, eyes that once held playful warmth now burning with an intensity that made Jimin's pulse quicken. You don't understand, Jimin, Jungkook said, voice low, almost dangerous. There are things in that book, things I've written that I can't take back. Do you even know what it feels like to put your soul on paper and hand it to someone knowing it could destroy you both? Jimin swallowed hard, gripping the book tighter. I think I do now, he said, his voice trembling but firm. I feel every word, Jungkook, every secret, every confession. It's like I can't breathe because it's all so raw, so real. Why didn't you trust me with it sooner? Jungkook stepped forward, the shadows making him look taller, sharper, more untouchable. Because some truths aren't meant to be easy, they're dangerous, and I wasn't ready to face mine or yours. His eyes darkened, a storm raging behind them. Do you even know what I wrote about? The nights I stayed awake thinking of you, of what could happen if you knew. I didn't just write lyrics, Jimin. I exposed my fears, my obsession, my weakness. And now you have it all, and I don't know how to survive seeing you holding my soul in your hands. Jimin's throat tightened. Weakness? Jungkook, this is bravery, this is honesty. I've never felt closer to you than I do right now. Do you think I'm going to walk away just because it scares you? The tension in the room was suffocating, but beneath it was an undeniable magnetism, a pull neither could resist. Jungkook's hand hovered near Jimin, trembling slightly, and the unspoken electricity between them was almost unbearable. You're reckless, Jungkook said, voice husky. Do you even realize what you're doing to me? I'm doing this because I care, Jimin shot back, eyes blazing. I'm doing this because I've been waiting for you to let me in, and now I'm not letting you push me away. Jungkook's lips twitched, a conflicted smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. You have no idea how much danger that brings. You think love is all passion and fire, Jimin. You think it's easy, but it's not. It burns, it exposes everything you've tried to protect. And me, I've protected you by staying silent. I'd rather burn with you than stay in the cold pretending everything's fine, Jimin whispered, stepping closer, every inch charged with defiance and desire. Do you feel that? The way my heart's beating, it's not fear, it's wanting you, all of you, no matter the consequences. Jungkook's breath caught, eyes darkening with a mix of fear and longing. He reached out, fingers brushing against Jimin's hand, hesitant at first, then with growing boldness. You have no idea what you're doing to me, he murmured, voice cracking. Every touch, every word, it's like I'm on fire from the inside, and I can't stop. The room seemed to shrink around them, every sound amplified, the hum of the lights, the soft slap of rain against glass, their own breaths mingling in the charged air. Jimin tilted his head, lips barely an inch from Jungkook's. Then don't stop, he whispered. Let it consume us both. Let's be reckless, Jungkook, let's burn everything down if we have to. Jungkook hesitated for a heartbeat, torn between fear and desire, then finally closed the distance. The kiss was not gentle, it was fire meeting fire, urgent, demanding, a collision of emotions they had buried for far too long. Jimin's hands tangled in Jungkook's hair, pulling him closer, feeling the tremor of vulnerability beneath the bravado. They broke apart only for air, foreheads resting together, chests heaving. Jungkook's voice was low, trembling. There are things you don't know, Jimin, things in my past, things I've never told anyone that could ruin everything, but I can't hide anymore. Jimin's grip tightened on Jungkook's shoulders. Then tell me, I want it all. I want the good, the bad, the ugly, the secrets, no more hiding. For a moment, silence ruled, broken only by the rain, then Jungkook exhaled sharply, the dam breaking. There's someone else, he admitted, voice barely above a whisper. Someone I thought I lost forever, someone I wrote these lyrics for before I even knew I was feeling this way about you. Jimin froze, heart lurching, mind spinning. Someone else? His voice was sharp, disbelief and hurt flashing in his eyes. You loved someone else? Jungkook's eyes brimmed with tears, raw and unguarded. I thought I did, but I realized every song, every line, every sleepless night, it was always you. But I can't deny the past, Jimin. There are scars, there are choices, there are people who have marked me in ways I can't erase. And now, facing you, feeling this, I'm terrified that it's not enough to just say it. Jimin's knees weakened and he sank to the floor, the rain outside now a muted background to the storm raging inside him. You mean, all this passion, all this love, it's real, but you carry someone else in your heart too. Jungkook fell to his knees beside him, hands trembling as he took Jimin's face in his. Yes, he admitted, but not like this, not with you. You're not a shadow of anyone else, you're not a replacement. You're the truth I never dared to speak until now, and I can't lose you, Jimin, even if the past keeps whispering in my ear. Jimin stared into Jungkook's eyes, the storm of emotions crashing inside him, anger, betrayal, longing, desire, fear, all tangled together. Then we face it, he said finally, voice steady despite the tears. We face it all, the past, the secrets, the chaos together, no more lies, no more hiding. Jungkook nodded, pulling him into a desperate, trembling embrace. The book lay forgotten, the pages fluttering open like wings of a caged bird finally free. And in that small, rain-soaked studio, two hearts burned, reckless and raw, facing the truth that love was never simple, never safe, but always worth the risk. The studio door slammed behind them, reverberating like a gunshot in the tense air. Rain still drummed against the windows, but inside the storm was entirely human, contained between Jimin and Jungkook. Jimin's eyes were sharp, searching Jungkook for answers he wasn't sure he wanted to hear, yet couldn't resist needing. You never told me about her, Jimin said, voice low, almost a growl. Not once. And now I have to hear it from your own lips after everything, after these confessions. I'm supposed to just accept it. Jungkook's face tightened. I didn't want to hurt you, I didn't want to ruin what we have. She's part of my past, Jimin, and that past, it was messy, I was messy, and I never wanted you to see that side of me until I could stand in front of you fully. Messy? Jimin's laugh was bitter, sharp, filled with disbelief. Messy is an understatement. She wasn't just part of your past, Jungkook. You wrote songs for her, nights you claimed were about me were actually them. How am I supposed to feel now? Happy, grateful, betrayed? Jungkook's hands clenched into fists at his sides, jaw tight. I didn't lie to you, I never sang those songs to her, I never told her how I really felt. Those songs were confessions to a version of myself I was too scared to admit. And when I realized it was you, Jimin, always you, I swear, every line in that book, every lyric, it became about you the moment I saw you, the moment I realized what I was feeling. Jimin's eyes burned and he pressed his hands against his temples, trying to steady himself. And what if it's not enough? What if I can't erase the thought of her from you, the way she existed in your life? Do you think I can just accept that you loved someone else before me? Jungkook's expression cracked. He stepped closer, the intensity in his gaze cutting like glass. I don't expect you to accept it easily, but you have to believe me when I say she's gone. She's just a shadow now, a shadow that taught me what I never wanted to feel again. And now I know what I want, you, only you. Jimin's chest heaved, a storm of conflicting emotions tearing through him. Anger, desire, betrayal. And longing fought for dominance, leaving him trembling. And how do I trust that? How do I know this isn't just another song, another confession to hide behind? Jungkook's hand reached out, trembling, brushing against Jimin's cheek. Look at me, he demanded softly, voice raw. No words, no lyrics, just me. Can't you feel it? Can't you feel that every heartbeat, every trembling thought is yours now? Jimin's lips parted and he almost faltered under the intensity. I don't know, he admitted, voice cracking, raw and vulnerable. Part of me wants to believe you, wants to throw myself into this, into you, but another part is screaming that I'll get hurt again. That love with you, it's dangerous, and yet I can't stop wanting it. Jungkook's fingers tangled in Jimin's hair, pulling him closer, the closeness electrifying. Dangerous? Yes, but isn't that the point, Jimin? Isn't that why we keep coming back to each other, despite the fear, despite the mistakes? Because the risk is worth it, because love, real love, never stays safe. Jimin's chest pressed against Jungkook, their foreheads touching, breaths mingling, the tension almost unbearable. Then don't let me go, he whispered, voice shaking with desire and fear. Hold me here right now, show me that it's real, that I'm not just another shadow in your past. Jungkook captured his lips in a kiss that was fire and ice, urgent and desperate, tasting confession and need all at once. The intensity left them both gasping, trembling, hearts pounding like war drums. The rain outside intensified, matching the storm inside them, and the room felt alive with the collision of their emotions. When they finally broke apart for air, Jimin's hands rested on Jungkook's chest, feeling the steady, desperate pulse beneath his fingers. There's more you're not telling me, he said, voice low, almost a growl. Something else, something you're afraid to say. Jungkook's eyes darkened, guilt flashing in their depths. Yes, he admitted, there's more, and it's messy, complicated, dangerous, but I need you to hear it. You deserve the truth, even if it hurts, even if it changes everything. Jimin leaned closer, tension and desire warping his voice into a whisper. Then tell me, I can handle it, but you have to be honest, no more hiding. Jungkook swallowed hard, trembling under the intensity of the moment. There's someone from my past, is someone who might still try to come back, someone who knew me before you and knows all my secrets. And if they return, it could destroy us, Jimin, everything we have, I can't lie about that. Jimin's eyes widened, a mixture of fear and fierce determination lighting his gaze. Then we face it together, he said firmly, pressing his lips to Jungkook's again, desperate, claiming him. I don't care who or what comes, I'm not letting you face your past alone, not ever. For a moment the world fell away, the rain, the shadows, the fear. There was only the two of them, hearts beating together, bodies pressed close, facing the chaos and danger ahead. And in that closeness there was both fire and fragility, love and truth, a reckless, passionate declaration that nothing, no secret, no shadow, no past, could undo what they had found in each other. The night was suffocating, thick with heat and tension, the kind that pressed against Jimin's chest and made it hard to breathe. The city outside had fallen silent, the rain replaced by suffocating humidity, and inside the studio the air itself seemed electric, crackling with unspoken words. Jimin sat on the edge of the couch, the secret book lying open but neglected between them. Jungkook paced, restless, fingers tugging at his hair, eyes dark pools of fear and desire. "They're here," Jungkook finally said, voice low, almost a growl. "They've been following me, Jimin, watching, waiting. They know about the book, they know about us." Jimin froze, heart pounding. "Who? What do you mean? How is that even possible?" His voice trembled, not just from fear but from the way his entire body had already been wound tight by Jungkook's closeness, by the secrets they had just begun unraveling. Jungkook stopped, finally facing him. His expression was raw, unguarded, and terrifyingly human. "Someone from my past, someone I thought I left behind, someone who doesn't want to see me happy, and they'll do anything to ruin this, to ruin us." Jimin's stomach dropped, a cold knot forming in his gut. "Anything? Jungkook, you're scaring me. I don't care about anyone else, I only care about you, and if they hurt you, if they try to touch you—" "They won't just touch me," Jungkook interrupted sharply, stepping closer, his eyes ablaze. "They'll take everything, and I can't let that happen to you, not after all this, Jimin. I won't survive losing you." Jimin's lips parted, a mix of fear, longing, and frustration spilling out. "You're already scaring me, Jungkook. You think keeping me in the dark protects me, but it doesn't. I want to fight with you, not behind your back. I want to be your partner in this, in everything." Jungkook's chest heaved as he took a step closer, until the space between them was charged with heat and desperation. "I don't know if you understand what I'm asking of you," he said, voice low, trembling with emotion. "I'm asking you to trust me, to trust that what we have is stronger than anyone trying to tear us apart. But that trust, it's fragile. You could leave, you could run, and his voice broke raw and bare, "I can't bear the thought of that." Jimin's eyes glistened, chest heaving. "Run? I'm not running, Jungkook. I'm not leaving you, but I need you to stop hiding everything. I need the truth, all of it. If someone from your past is coming for us, I need to know, I need to be ready, together." Jungkook swallowed hard, the vulnerability in his eyes making Jimin's heart ache. "You're serious?" he asked, almost a whisper. "More than anything," Jimin said, stepping closer, hands reaching for Jungkook's face, brushing hair from his forehead, tracing the tension in his jaw. "Don't hide from me, don't push me away. I'm here, Jungkook, all of me." Jungkook's hands trembled as they found Jimin's waist, pulling him into a searing, desperate embrace. "All of you," he murmured against Jimin's neck, "even if this gets messy, even if it hurts." Jimin shivered, pressed closer, letting the tremor of desire and fear wash over him. "Even then," he whispered, "I'm yours, all in, no regrets." For a moment the world outside ceased to exist. There was only the heat of their bodies pressed together, the rapid pulse of hearts that had been beating around secrets for too long. Jungkook's lips captured Jimin's in a kiss that was wild, frantic, full of every emotion they'd tried to bury: longing, fear, desperation, and an unshakable hunger. When they finally broke apart for air, both trembling, Jimin's eyes were fierce. "Tell me everything," he demanded, voice low and intense. "Who is it? What do they want? I need the truth before we face this." Jungkook's gaze darkened, haunted, and he hesitated, then finally nodded. "It's her, Mina. She was my first love, Jimin, but she never really let me go. Even when I thought I was free, even when I started writing for you, she never stopped watching, never stopped trying to manipulate me, to control me." Jimin's breath caught, rage and disbelief flashing through him. "She's still trying to control you, she's threatening us, after everything you've told me." Jungkook nodded, jaw tight. "Yes, and I didn't want to drag you into it, but now it's too late. She knows about the book, about the lyrics, about how much I care about you, and if she gets her way, she'll destroy everything we've built, everything." Jimin's hands tightened on Jungkook's shoulders, eyes blazing. "Then we stop her, together, no more secrets, no more hiding. If she wants to play games, we'll play better, and she won't win, not over you, not over us." Jungkook's eyes softened, glistening with a mixture of fear and relief. You really mean that?" he asked, voice trembling. Jimin stepped closer, pressing his forehead against his. "I do, I love you, Jungkook, all of you, past, present, future, everything. We face it together or not at all." The intensity between them was unbearable, charged with danger, desire, and unspoken truths. They moved together, lips colliding again in a kiss hotter and more desperate than before, hands exploring, bodies pressed close, hearts racing. Every touch, every whispered confession, every tremor of emotion bound them tighter, creating a force neither Mina nor anyone else could ever hope to break. And as the night stretched on, thick with tension and passion, they knew one thing with absolute certainty. No secret, no past, no shadow could come between them, not when the fire they shared had finally been set free. The door slammed with a force that made the walls shake, and suddenly the studio, once their private sanctuary, felt like a battlefield. Jimin froze, chest tight, pulse hammering as he watched Jungkook's eyes harden, dark and dangerous. The air between them was electric, charged with fear, desire, and unspoken warnings. "She's here," Jungkook said, voice low but tense, every syllable vibrating with barely controlled anger. "Mina's here." Jimin turned slowly, jaw tight, scanning the shadows of the room. Outside, the night seemed heavier, darker, pressing against the glass like it knew the chaos inside. "I'm not moving, Jungkook," he said, voice steady despite the adrenaline surging through him. "You've dragged me into this, now we face it together." Jungkook's lips twitched, conflicted, his fingers brushing against Jimin's cheek. "Are you sure? She's dangerous, Jimin. She doesn't just play games, she destroys." "I'm sure," Jimin whispered, stepping closer, chest nearly pressed against Jungkook's. "And if she thinks she can manipulate you or hurt us, she's about to learn she picked the wrong person to mess with." The studio door creaked open slowly, a shadow slipping inside. Mina, tall, elegant, with eyes sharp and calculating, she paused, scanning the room, a cruel smile curving her lips. "Well, isn't this cozy?" she said, voice dripping with mockery. "Two hearts tangled in secrets and a little betrayal. How touching." Jimin's blood boiled and he stepped forward, hands balling into fists. "You've been following him, manipulating him, trying to control him, and now you show up like you own this place? You're done, Mina." Mina's laugh was soft, chilling, like the sound of glass breaking. "Done," she echoed, taking a slow step closer, eyes never leaving Jungkook's. "Oh, I think I've only just begun. Don't you understand, Jungkook? I've always known you better than anyone. I know what you want, what you need, and I know what Jimin can never give you." Jimin's hands trembled with fury, but he stayed rooted, gaze locked on her. "Stop talking about him like that. He's not yours, he's never been yours, and if you think for a second that I'll let you control him, you're wrong." Jungkook's chest heaved, caught between fear and desire, torn between his past and the present he was desperately trying to protect. "Mina," he started, voice tight, "this isn't what?" she interrupted sharply, eyes glinting with malice. "Not ours. Don't kid yourself, Jungkook. You've never stopped thinking about me. You wrote songs about me, nights you claimed were alone, they were mine." Jimin's heart lurched, heat and anger mingling, and he stepped between them, voice low but deadly. "Stop! Stop it now. Every word you're saying is a lie you're trying to live in. Jungkook isn't yours, he's mine, and I won't let you ruin what we have. Do you hear me?" Mina's eyes flicked to Jimin, sharp and calculating. "Mine? Oh, how cute, but don't you think I know what he's hiding in that book? The things he's been telling you, the confessions, the desires, I wrote those first. I gave him words before you even existed in his mind." Jimin's pulse spiked, but he squared his shoulders, voice firm. "It doesn't matter who wrote them first. What matters is here and now. What matters is him and me. You've had your chance, Mina, and you lost it." Jungkook's hands clutched at Jimin's waist, pulling him close, lips brushing against his ear. "Jimin, his voice was raw, trembling with emotion. "I never wanted this to come back. I tried to move on, I tried to bury it, but she won't let me be free." "Then we fight together," Jimin whispered fiercely, lips pressing to Jungkook's in a fierce, claiming kiss. "Past or present, no one is taking you from me. I don't care who you were with, who tried to haunt you. I'm here, I'm yours, and I'll prove it to you." Mina's eyes narrowed, lips twisting with fury, and she stepped closer, voice dropping to a dangerous hiss. "You think you can just erase the past? You think a kiss and some declarations can fix what's already been written? You have no idea what I can do. I'll destroy everything. I'll destroy him." Jimin's eyes blazed, heart hammering, and he stepped fully into her space, voice low, deadly, and unshakable. Try, and I'll make sure you regret it. You're not touching him, you're not touching us. You've underestimated me, and that's your first mistake." Jungkook's hands tangled in Jimin's hair, pulling him close again, lips crashing together in a heated, desperate kiss. Every word Mina spat, every threat, only fueled the fire between them. Every heated touch, every trembling gasp reinforced what they had, what Mina could never take. When they finally broke apart for air, Jungkook's forehead pressed against Jimin, breathing ragged. You're incredible," he murmured. "I don't deserve you." Jimin smirked, fierce, teasing, yet full of heat. Maybe not, but you better believe I'm staying, no matter who comes, what they threaten or what they've done, I'm yours, and I won't let anyone take that away. Mina's lips curled in fury, eyes flashing, but she knew deep down that the bond between them was unbreakable. For all her cunning, her manipulation, she could not compete with the fire between Jimin and Jungkook, the raw, undeniable, desperate passion that connected them beyond words, beyond fear, beyond the past. And in that heat, in that darkness, they stood together, hands entwined, hearts racing, ready to face whatever storms came next. Because love, when it burned this fiercely, was a force no shadow, no enemy, and no secret could ever extinguish. The silence after Mina's threat lingered like smoke in the room, thick and bitter. The studio lights buzzed faintly overhead, and Jimin could still feel the warmth of Jungkook's hands gripping his waist, holding him as if letting go would mean losing him forever. Mina watched them with narrowed eyes, arms folded, her expression unreadable but clearly furious. The air between the three of them felt like a taut wire pulled too tight. "So this is what it's come to," Mina finally said, her voice smooth but venomous. "You standing there like some heroic lover while he hides behind you." Jimin didn't move. He didn't even blink. "He's not hiding," Jimin said quietly. "He's standing right here. The only one hiding behind lies is you." Jungkook inhaled slowly beside him. Jimin could feel the tension in his body, the slight tremor in his hands. For the first time since Mina walked in, Jungkook stepped forward instead of staying behind Jimin. "Mina," Jungkook said. His voice wasn't afraid anymore. It was tired. Deeply tired. "You need to stop." Mina's eyes flashed. "Stop," she repeated. "You think you can just tell me to stop like none of this happened, like we never happened?" "You're right," Jungkook said quietly. "We did happen, but it ended a long time ago." The words struck the room like a crack of thunder. Mina's jaw tightened. "You wrote songs about me," she snapped. "You stayed up all night writing lyrics because of me." Jungkook's expression hardened. "I wrote songs about pain," he replied. "About confusion, about trying to understand why someone who said they loved me kept trying to control every part of my life." Jimin's chest tightened. Mina took a step forward, anger radiating from her like heat. "Oh please," she scoffed. "You're rewriting history now, you begged me not to leave." Jungkook laughed once, bitter and quiet. "Yes," he said, "I did." The admission hung in the air. Jimin glanced at him, but Jungkook didn't look away. "I begged you," Jungkook continued, "because I thought love meant holding on no matter how much it hurt. I thought if I tried harder, if I changed enough, you'd finally care about me instead of controlling me." Mina's lips parted slightly. "But then something changed," Jungkook said. His voice softened. He turned toward Jimin. Jimin felt his breath catch. "You walked into my life," Jungkook said quietly. The room seemed to shrink. "And suddenly," Jungkook continued, "I realized what love was supposed to feel like." Mina laughed harshly. "Oh please, you expect me to believe that?" "I don't expect anything from you anymore," Jungkook said. His voice was calm now. "Steady. That's the difference." Mina's anger began shifting into something colder. "So that's it," she said, "you're choosing him." Jimin stepped forward before Jungkook could answer. "He's not choosing," Jimin said. Mina raised an eyebrow. "He already chose," Jimin continued. The words came out stronger than he expected. Mina looked between them, studying their faces carefully. "You really think this lasts?" she asked quietly. Jimin didn't hesitate. "Yes." Mina tilted her head. "You think he won't wake up one day and realize he made a mistake?" Jimin's voice dropped slightly, but it didn't shake. "No," he said. "Why?" she asked. Jimin looked straight at her. "Because love built on fear doesn't last," he said. Then he glanced at Jungkook. "But love built on truth does." Jungkook's hand found Jimin, again squeezing tightly. Mina noticed. Her eyes darkened. "You're both so dramatic," she muttered. She walked slowly around the room, her heels echoing against the studio floor. "Do you know what I see?" she asked. Neither of them answered. "I see two people who think love will magically solve everything," she said. "You think passion is enough." Jungkook spoke again. "No," he said. Mina stopped walking. "We know it isn't," Jungkook continued. He stepped closer to Jimin. "It takes honesty, it takes trust, It takes facing things that scare you instead of hiding from them. Mina scoffed. And you think you're doing that now? Yes, Jungkook said simply. For a long moment she said nothing. Then she sighed. The anger slowly drained from her expression, replaced by something colder. Fine, she said. Jimin frowned slightly. Mina picked up her bag from the chair near the door. If this is the fantasy you want to live in, she said, go ahead. She walked toward the door. Then she stopped. Just remember something, she added quietly without turning around. Jimin's muscles tensed. The past never disappears, Mina said. Then she opened the door and walked out. The door closed with a soft click. The silence afterward felt unreal. Jimin let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. Jungkook didn't move for several seconds. Then his shoulders finally dropped. She's gone, Jimin said softly. Jungkook nodded. But his eyes looked distant. Jimin stepped closer. Hey, he murmured. Jungkook blinked, focusing again. You okay? Jungkook exhaled slowly. I think so, he said. Then he looked at Jimin with something raw and honest in his expression. I'm sorry you had to see all of that. Jimin shook his head. Don't apologize. But you trusted me with the truth, Jimin said. That's what matters. Jungkook looked down for a moment. You weren't supposed to see the worst parts of me like that. Jimin gently tilted his chin up. That wasn't the worst part of you, he said. Jungkook frowned slightly. That was the part of you that survived, Jimin continued. The words seemed to settle somewhere deep inside Jungkook. You're stronger than you think, Jimin added. Jungkook's eyes softened. And you're terrifying, Jungkook muttered quietly. Jimin blinked. What? You stood up to her like it was nothing. Jimin shrugged slightly. I was angry. Jungkook smiled faintly. You were fearless. Jimin leaned closer. Not fearless, he said. Jungkook raised an eyebrow. Just very stubborn. That made Jungkook laugh for the first time that night. The tension finally cracked. Jimin stepped forward and wrapped his arms around him. This time the embrace was slower. Calmer. Jungkook rested his forehead against Jimin's shoulder. For a moment neither of them spoke. The studio suddenly felt peaceful again. You know, Jungkook said quietly after a while. Jimin hummed softly. That book you found. Jimin smiled slightly. The one that made me cry. Yeah. Jungkook pulled back a little. There's one last page you didn't read. Jimin blinked. There is. Jungkook nodded. He walked over to the couch and picked up the worn leather notebook. Then he flipped to the final page. Jimin walked over slowly. What does it say, he asked. Jungkook handed the book to him. Jimin read the final lines. His eyes widened slightly. Then they softened. The lyrics were simple. But powerful. I searched through every song trying to understand love. Then you walked in and I finally stopped writing about loneliness. Jimin looked up. Jungkook watched him nervously. So Jungkook said quietly. Jimin closed the book gently. Then he smiled. I think that's my favorite song you've written. Jungkook exhaled. Good. Jimin stepped closer again. Because I'm not going anywhere, he said softly. Jungkook's fingers intertwined with his. Me neither. Outside, the city lights shimmered through the studio window. Inside, the chaos of the past slowly faded. And for the first time since the secret book had been opened, the story it contained finally felt complete. The room was dim, bathed only in the flickering glow of the city lights through the rain-streaked windows. Jimin sat on the edge of the couch, the secret book closed but still heavy in his mind. Jungkook stood near the window, arms crossed, eyes scanning the night outside as if he expected trouble to slip in from the shadows. The air between them was taut, charged, simmering with an intensity neither could ignore. You're quiet, Jungkook said, voice low, almost teasing, plotting your next attack. Jimin's lips twitched into a half-smile. You mean planning how to make sure you don't get yourself kidnapped again? His voice carried heat, flirtation, and the underlying tension of suppressed desire. Jungkook turned slowly, eyes darkening as he stepped closer. You know, you're dangerously close to distracting me, he murmured. His fingers brushed Jimin's arm, lingering in a way that sent shivers up Jimin's spine. And tonight, I don't want distractions. Jimin's breath hitched. Is that so? He leaned back slightly, challenging, playful, though every inch of him was trembling with anticipation. Because I was thinking, maybe I want to distract you. Jungkook closed the space between them in a heartbeat, his lips brushing Jimin's ear as he whispered, "Careful what you wish for, you might not be able to handle it." The air shifted, electric, almost unbearable. Jimin's hands found Jungkook's shoulders, tracing the tension there, feeling every muscle trembling beneath his fingertips. "Try me," he whispered, eyes locking on Jungkook's. "I'm not scared." Jungkook's fingers tangled in Jimin's hair, pulling him closer until their bodies pressed together, heat meeting heat. "Good," he muttered, lips hovering near Jimin's, "because I've wanted this all night." Their lips collided in a kiss, fierce and consuming, desperate and demanding. Every touch ignited fire, every breath mingled with need. Jimin moaned softly, melting against Jungkook, fingers clutching his jacket, nails digging slightly into fabric as desire and fear collided. When they finally pulled back for air, foreheads pressed together, Jungkook's voice was hoarse. I can't hold back anymore." Jimin smiled faintly, breathless, "Then don't." They fell onto the couch, bodies intertwined, hands exploring, lips tracing, teeth and tongue meeting in a heated, feverish dance. Each kiss was a confession, each touch a revelation. Every gasp, every tremor was proof of the unspoken tension that had been building for weeks, now finally unleashed. Between kisses, Jungkook whispered against Jimin's lips, voice rough, "I've kept so much inside, so many things I thought you couldn't handle, but tonight, I want you to feel everything." Jimin shivered, trembling in response. "I can handle it," he whispered back. "I want everything you've been holding back, every fear, every desire, every secret." The intensity was overwhelming, consuming them both, but outside the storm of passion, a knock echoed faintly against the studio door. Both froze, hearts hammering. "It's late," Jungkook said, voice tense. "Who?" The door opened slowly and Mina stepped inside, eyes glittering with cold amusement. "I knew you wouldn't be able to resist each other for long," she said softly, voice venomous yet controlled. "And here I thought I had time." Jimin's body stiffened, anger and disbelief surging. "What are you doing here?" he demanded, rising to his feet. Mina's gaze flicked between them, sharp and calculating. "I wanted to see for myself," she said, a cruel smirk curling her lips. "See if he truly belongs to you or if he still belongs to me." Jungkook stepped in front of Jimin, body tense, eyes dark. "He doesn't belong to you," he said, voice low, dangerous. "He's mine, and I suggest you leave before I regret being polite." Mina laughed softly, taking a slow step closer, clearly unafraid. "Oh, I like this side of you," she said. "The possessive, jealous one, but are you sure it's enough? Can you really protect him from me, from yourself?" Jimin's eyes narrowed, heart racing with both fury and desire. "Try me," he said, stepping forward, body close to Mina. "You think you can come between us, that you can threaten what we have? You've underestimated me and him." Jungkook's hand found Jimin's, squeezing tightly. "Don't let her get to you," he murmured. "We're stronger than her games." Mina's eyes darkened and she stepped closer, dangerously close to their intertwined bodies. "Stronger?" she asked, voice a low hiss. "We'll see." Suddenly, she leaned in, brushing her lips almost against Jungkook, teasing, testing, daring him. The heat in the room spiked, a dangerous triangle of desire, lust, and tension forming. Jungkook's jaw tightened, his hands clenching at his sides, his eyes locking on Jimin. Jimin's hands pressed against Jungkook's chest, eyes blazing. "She's not worth it," he said fiercely, voice low, almost a growl. "I'm the one you want, and I'll make sure she knows it." Jungkook's eyes darkened and a low growl escaped him. He leaned forward, capturing Jimin's lips in a fierce, claiming kiss that sent a clear warning: Mina had no place here. Jimin melted against him, responding with equal intensity, hands clutching, lips moving with desperate urgency. Mina's smirk faltered as she watched, and a flicker of something dangerous crossed her face. But the power between Jimin and Jungkook was undeniable, unbreakable. Every heated whisper, every tremor, every breath they shared was a declaration. No one could come between them, not Mina, not the past, not the secrets that had haunted them. Jungkook pulled back slightly, forehead pressed against Jimin's. "Do you feel that?" he murmured. No one can touch this." Jimin smiled, fingers brushing across his jaw. I feel it, he said, and I'm not letting go, not now, not ever. Outside, the rain began to fall again, heavy and relentless. Inside, the storm between them raged too, a fire of passion, trust, and a love that refused to be broken. And for the first time, they knew no one, no secret, no past could ever tear them apart again. The studio smelled of rain and tension, a charged atmosphere that made every breath feel thick. Jimin stood near the window, the city lights reflecting in his eyes, trembling from adrenaline and fear, but also from the memory of the last heated moments with Jungkook. He didn't realize how tightly he had been gripping the secret book until the pages bent beneath his fingers. She's not done, Jungkook said quietly, voice low and dangerous. His hands were balled into fists at his sides, jaw tight. Mina, she never stops, she's already planning her next move, I can feel it. Jimin turned, eyes sharp, scanning him. Then we stop her, together, no more secrets, no more waiting, I'm done standing in the shadows while she's trying to tear us apart. Jungkook's gaze softened but only briefly, then it hardened again. You don't know what she's capable of, she's cunning, dangerous, and she knows exactly how to hit where it hurts. I don't care, Jimin shot back, stepping closer, hands brushing Jungkook. I'm not afraid of her, and I'm not afraid of you either, not your past, your fears, your secrets. I want all of it, every part of you. Jungkook's eyes darkened, flickering with desire and unease. Every part of me, he murmured, voice low, trembling. Are you sure you can handle it? Because once you see it, there's no turning back. I've hidden things from you, things I never told anyone. Jimin stepped closer, pressing his forehead against Jungkook's. Try me, he whispered. I can handle anything as long as it's you. Jungkook's lips curved into a tense, brief smile before his gaze flicked toward the door. A shadow moved across the hallway outside, deliberate and slow. Mina. She pushed the door open with a flourish, her presence immediately commanding the room. Her heels clicked against the floor, echoing like gunshots, and her eyes gleamed with a dangerous satisfaction. You two look cozy, she said, voice soft, honeyed, but with steel underneath. I almost hate to interrupt, almost. Jimin stiffened, anger flaring like wildfire. Why are you here again? He demanded. Have you exhausted your little games yet? Mina's smirk widened. Games? Oh, Jimin, this isn't a game, not anymore, this is reality. Jungkook, he owes me, he always did, and now I'm taking what's mine. Jimin's pulse quickened, blood rushing hot through his veins. What he owes you, you do own asterisk him, you never did, and if you think for a second I'll let you manipulate him, you're dead wrong. Jungkook stepped forward, his presence dark and commanding. She doesn't own me, he said, voice low and dangerous. And I suggest you leave before things get unpleasant. Mina tilted her head, amused. Unpleasant? Oh, I love a little drama. She moved closer, dangerously close to Jungkook, eyes flashing. Do you remember the nights we shared, the lyrics, the songs, the things we whispered when no one was listening? You were mine, Jungkook, and you tried to deny it. Jimin's eyes narrowed, heat coiling in his chest. She's lying, he spat, stepping forward. None of that matters anymore. What matters is here now, and he's mine, do you understand? Jungkook's hands found Jimin, fingers intertwining tightly. I'm yours, he said, voice trembling but firm. Completely, no one else, and I mean that, every word in that book, every lyric, it was just me trying to find my way to you. Mina's smirk faltered, a flicker of anger replacing amusement. You think words can erase the past? You think a kiss, a confession can make me disappear? You're both fools if you believe it. Jimin stepped closer, bold, unwavering. Try me, he whispered, lips brushing dangerously close to Jungkook's ear. Say one more word and you'll see exactly what we're capable of. Jungkook shivered at the heat in Jimin's words, the raw desire and possessiveness shining through, his eyes locked with Jimin's, dark, intense, hungry. Together, he murmured, voice almost a growl. We face her together, no holding back. Mina's gaze hardened, realizing the connection between them was no longer a vulnerability. It was a weapon. You're both arrogant, she hissed. You think love can protect you from everything, from the truths I can bring, the secrets I can expose. Jimin leaned forward, voice low, sharp, dripping with danger and desire. Try it, I dare you, expose everything, I'm not afraid, and he's not afraid, you're about to find out just how much fire two people in love can burn. Jungkook's lips captured Jimin's in a searing, desperate kiss, one that was more than passion. It was a declaration, a warning. Hands tangled, bodies pressed, every movement saying the same thing: no one could break this. Mina watched, fury flickering across her face, realizing too late that whatever game she thought she had underestimated the bond between them. Jimin pulled back just enough to glare at her. "Go ahead," he said, chest heaving, voice low and sharp. "Say what you want, threaten what you want, but you'll find we're stronger than your past, stronger than your lies, and hotter than any danger you can throw at us." Minna's lips twisted, eyes dark with calculation, but even she could see the unshakable truth in their closeness, in the fire between them, in the heat that made the studio pulse with electricity. "You're playing with fire," she said, voice low, dangerous, "and fire burns." Jungkook's hands pulled Jimin close again, lips brushing his temple. "Then let's burn together," he murmured. Jimin shivered, wrapping his arms tighter around him. "Together," he whispered back. The rain began pounding against the windows again, heavy and relentless. Inside, the storm of desire, tension, and unwavering love raged even stronger, a force neither the past nor Mina could ever extinguish. They pressed together, lips, hands, bodies moving with reckless abandon, proving that their connection was stronger than every secret, threat, and temptation that had tried to tear them apart. And for the first time, the power between them felt unstoppable. The rain pounded like drums against the studio windows, a chaotic symphony that mirrored the storm inside Jimin's chest. He stood in the center of the room, fingers curled around the secret book one last time, heart hammering, thoughts racing. Jungkook was across from him, tension etched into every line of his body, eyes dark but unwavering, as if daring the world to challenge them again. Mina had come, threatened, taunted, but tonight it was clear she was powerless. Every attempt she'd made to manipulate, to control, to fracture what had been built had only strengthened them. Jimin felt it deep in his bones, the fire that had been sparked weeks ago, now a roaring blaze impossible to extinguish. "You ready?" Jungkook asked, voice low, dangerous, yet tinged with a vulnerability he only showed to Jimin. Jimin stepped forward, their fingers intertwining instinctively. "I've never been more ready," he said, voice steady though his pulse raced like lightning. "No past, no secrets, no one can touch us now." Jungkook smiled faintly, and for a heartbeat the tension in the room softened. Then Mina stepped in one last time, heels clicking against the floor, eyes glinting with a mixture of fury and disbelief. "You think you've won?" she asked, voice icy. "You can't erase the past, you can't erase me." Jimin's jaw tightened. "We don't need to erase you, we just need to live for us asterisk, and you are not part of that." Jungkook's hand found Jimin, fingers curling tight. "She's right," he said quietly. "We can't erase the past, but we can choose our present and our future." Mina laughed sharply, a sound that barely masked desperation. "You think love is enough? Passion, words, kisses, do you really believe it can shield you from everything, from betrayal, from pain?" Jimin's eyes burned with defiance. "We'll face it all," he said, stepping closer, chest pressed against Jungkook. "Together, and if pain comes, we face it together too. No one, no secret, no past will come between us again." Jungkook pulled him close, lips brushing his temple, whispering against his skin. "All in," he said. "No holding back, everything we've felt, everything we've wanted, it's all yours." The room felt impossibly small, yet infinite, an entire universe contained in the heat between them. Jimin pressed his lips to Jungkook, slow at first, then fierce, claiming, consuming. Every gasp, every tremble, every whispered confession was a declaration of truth, desire, and unstoppable love. Mina's smirk faltered as she watched them, realizing finally that nothing she could do would sever this bond. The fire between Jimin and Jungkook was untouchable, raw, unrelenting, and unapologetically theirs. Jimin pulled back slightly, forehead resting against Jungkook's, chest heaving. "We did it," he whispered. "We survived her, the past, everything, and we're still here together." Jungkook cupped his face, thumbs brushing over flushed skin. "We always survive," he murmured, "because we fight for each other, always." The storm outside began to ease, rain softening to a gentle patter. And in the studio, the chaos of the past gave way to clarity, to a peace forged in fire, desire, and honesty. Jimin and Jungkook stood entwined, fingers linked, lips brushing in gentle, lingering kisses, the secret book resting quietly on the couch, a symbol not of fear or betrayal, but of the journey that had brought them here. Mina had vanished, leaving only the echoes of her threats, powerless against what had been built in truth and passion. Jimin tilted his head, letting his lips brush Jungkook, again, softer now, intimate, filled with promise. "No more shadows," he whispered, "just us always." Jungkook's lips curved into a slow, satisfied smile. "Always," he echoed, pressing a lingering kiss to Jimin's forehead. "No lies, no games, just fire." The city lights shimmered against the wet streets outside, the rain painting everything in silver, gold, and shadow. And inside the studio, two hearts burned brighter than ever, unbroken, unstoppable, and unshakably theirs. In that moment, all the secrets, fears, and past ghosts dissolved into nothingness, leaving only the undeniable truth: they were together, in love, and unafraid of whatever came next. And finally, for the first time in weeks, the storm outside was nothing compared to the fire within.